Hey guys, today we're going to get into an analysis of what's the best way for new players to get started in Splinterlands. Is it to buy one account and dump all of whatever value you've got into that one account, or is it actually to buy many accounts and let them be at a lower level? And it sounds like a simple question, but there's a lot of math that went into this, a lot of research that I spent before I recorded this video now. And so I've got a ton of numbers that I want to share with you. I really think it's a very interesting conversation. I think it's very closely, the reward structure and the costs are very closely aligned. And so I want to unpack that for you today with a mind to try and help you guys make the decisions that are going to help all my new players, as well as older, better understand how to get the most reward out of their time and attention and investment in this game. Without further ado, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dwayne, and usually I just go by 12. And you can cover me, we cover Splinterlands on the channel all day, every day, because it's changed my life and I think it can change yours. Get into it. So yeah, the question came from a guy named Clappy. It was actually Clap YYN, which I assume is Clappy. And he said, I'm just getting started and I want to know, is it better to have one account with all of my value in it or many accounts? And that got me thinking, well, what would one account that could succeed in this game even cost? You know, what does it cost to have a silver level 3 deck? Because that's really where the rewards become serious, as you guys well know. Bronze, you get very limited cards per chest. At bronze 3, you're only going to get a 10% probability of a card dropping. At bronze 2, you're going to get a 20%. At bronze 1, you're going to get a 30% chance of cards being in each loot chest. And then you're not getting any DC at bronze either, right? Not in the loot chest anyways. At silver 3, you're going to get DC per win. You're going to get DC sometimes in your loot chest. You're going to get more loot chests per season and more loot chests per day. Plus, those have a 50% chance of dropping a card each chest. So there's a lot less rewards, but there's also, they're probably way more meaningful. I think that's generally a reasonable statement to make. And so the real question is like quantity over quality here. And I think we need to unpack some of the numbers to go any further. But I want to show you the work I did this morning on calculating what it would cost to get started in the game today, building a quality and competitive silver level deck. I'm going to give you a detailed breakdown of all of the cards that I recommended for that. And if you want to copy and paste that purchase, it's going to cost you between $650 to $850 US, depending on which, you know, market prices on the day you go by, but also depending on maybe if you nix a couple of my options. So we're going to spend the next, say, 10 minutes talking about those selections, and then we'll get into later after that, after we explain the team, we'll get into the rewards that could come out of that. Okay, let's get into it. I've got a bunch of notes here. The first, let's do white for the screen, so we'll go over here. So the summoners I chose were level 4 Sloan, level 4 Thaddeus, level 3 Delwyn, and level 2 Kelya. Let's go look at the summoners in question. Level 4 Sloan is it requires 25 BCX because he's rare. That's gonna unlock level 5 commons, level 4 rares, level 3 epics, and level 2 legendaries. That's a fully maxed out summoner for the silver level. In fact, that sort of summoner is going to be competitive even at gold, so long as you have other summoners that are going to complement, right? Like you're going to need some level 6 summoners to compete heavily at gold, but this is something you could hold for a long time and be very satisfied with. You're not going to outgrow that anytime soon. And so level 4 Sloan, archery focus, love it. Thaddeus Brood was number 2 I picked because I really like the Death Splinter this in Chaos Legion. Cards like Riftwing, Windaku, Jin, the new Jin with the magic with the void armor. I forget its name right now. A lot of great cards with the Death Splinter, and also the double. The fact that Thaddeus provides 2 nerfs to me makes it a very strong consideration, especially for that price point. Like when we look at Sloan or many of the other cards like Obsidian, or even the older ones like Pyre, Motherkala, Test Element, you're getting the 1 buff or nerf. So when we get into 2 with Thaddeus, I find that that's very strong in terms of, you know, a strong consideration. Plus the price point again is always correct. And in my opinion, as I've always said before, look for value as opposed to, you know, the best quality, the most meta summoner or monster. I recommend going inexpensive and diversifying your deck as opposed to spending a boatload on 1 or 2 meta monsters or meta summoners, because I just feel diversity is far more functional and will provide more wins in the long run, as opposed to, not to mention more enjoyment, because you can have you don't need to play the same set of monsters every single play. You can switch it up because you've got a multitude of options. And then for that reason also I threw in Delwyn Dragonscale to give myself another look. So obviously with the +1 magic, I made sure General Sloan, the life team, was going to have magic monsters, and also the death team was going to have magic monsters. And lastly, I threw in a level 2 Kellia Frendel, which is only 5 BCX, and you're talking 20 bucks, $18. So that's not very much. It was actually about $270 for those summoners at those respective levels. And I think that would be very strong and very competitive at the silver level. And again, you can just build on it to stretch it into gold in the future when you feel that the time is right for that. Those are the summoners, and those are the reasons for them. The monsters that I got into were with the death first. Let's focus on that screen. Death, nope, death. Regular. First of all, I went Pellicore Deceiver because I really like this card, especially at the silver level. You get 2 melee and the high hit points with the good speed. I like that with the flying. Very strong card for a really inexpensive price. Second tank, Shadow Snitch. Very, again, decent high hit points, reach, good speed, 2 melee. I really like that 1-2 punch for 9 mana. Yes, please. Especially around the 6% mark. Not a problem for me. Very inexpensive. You're talking $3 for that card-ish. And probably, you know, just under $4 for that one. It's not a problem at level 5 each. I also really love the Riftwing, especially for like a tertiary, like a third tank for your team in the snipe position, because it doesn't have any sort of attack. It's going to attract the snipers. It's going to attract some opportunity monster attacks, and it's quite elusive. It's got the flying. It's got the backfire. It's got a decent amount of speed at 3 or 4 depending on what level you buy, and a good amount of hit points plus scavenger. I really like this card a lot, and for 13 cents I'm strongly recommending that any sort of death deck would include this card. It's a great little 4-cost meat shield. Excellent. I love it. Silent Shabby. Sneak attack is always powerful, plus this one comes out of the gate with 2, and you can bring it up to 3 within your silver level range. So yes, that's a great card for a reasonable price. Adding to the magic play, Venari Bonesmith at the level 4 is definitely worth it. It's the cheapest magic monster on the black team right now, and it's absolutely worth what the price is right now. I'd say it's worth way more than that, but that's a strong recommendation. Soul Strangler is on my list, but I could also, you know, be convinced to exclude it. It's a reasonable price for a good amount of archery damage. 2 out of the gate, and it goes up to 3 within the range that you would be able to play it. And so, you know, depending on what your budget is, this is a card where I might back away from. Let's put it that way. Same with the Dampier Stalker. Again, I like this card, and it's got the True Strike, and it comes out of the gate with the 3 archery. Strong card, but I would, if you had a tighter budget than the one I'm describing, maybe I walk away from this one. I included Life Sapper, and this is, in my opinion, a must. Again, preparing yourself to have some utility with the Delwyn Dragonscale, the magic play that I described, and again, 3 mana, 1 magic, and you know, the life leech. I love this card. It's an excellent card, and that's a reasonable price. I also included the Windaku, but this is getting a bit more expensive, and it was one of, you know, I don't love it at the level 4, which is the level you can play it at within silver. It doesn't have the heal. It has a good amount of hit points, has a decent speed, and has a good melee, plus the thorns. So it's strong, but it lacks the heal. And so I could maybe be convinced to exclude it, but I personally did include it. And then I think I got that might have been it. Did I get any others? No, I did. I actually recommended a couple big boys like Darkest Mage, which for $6.50 per BCX is a very strong 2-cost magic monster that will work well with your Delwyn when the time comes to run that play. I also included Harclaw at level 2 because he's just so cheap. I included Gorgolon, Gorlodon, because it's such a strong meat shield with from the reach position. At those higher mana matches, you're going to want something like that. Jin Murad, that was the one I was trying to mention earlier. This is an excellent card, and especially in conjunction with your Delwyn. And then I included Phantom Soldier, which is an expensive card, $23 per BCX, but good hit points, good magic out of the gate, decent speed with flight. This to me is a card that could change, could separate you from the competition moving forward, especially as we fight. As you hopefully are going to bounce back and forth between modern and wild, you're going to need cards like this to really succeed in the wild format. Bringing just a traditional, or bringing just a fully modern Chaos Legion deck into wild, I think will struggle. But when you complement it with a few cards such as this one, you're going to find much more success, in my opinion. And you could consider things like the Dark Enchantress. I didn't. There's a lot of great cards in here that are very expensive, so that's where I stopped. And my death deck that I built: Pellicore Deceiver, Shadow Snitch, Riftwing, Silent Shabby, Bonesmith, Soul Strangler, Life Sapper, Cursed Windiku, Boogeyman. Oh, I didn't mention the Boogeyman. That was level 3 I recommended. Boogeyman, where is he? Because he's another magic monster. Quickly look. Didn't talk about him, so I better. So at level 3, you only need 5 BCX. He's got 2 magic, 2 speed, 5 hit points, and the slow. You know, again, setting yourself up to have that versatility between death and dragon, and using Delwyn to maximum effect. Plus the slow is always helpful, and at the level 3 he's getting that extra speed, making him so much more useful than the level 1. So that's why I did that. Now, and then we'll go back to notes. Finishing a note, like I said, Darkest Mage, Harklaw, Jin Murat, and the Phantom Soldier. That all costs $132 US. Not cheap, but not expensive. I mean, for a full deck, for a full Splinter, in my opinion, that's really, really great. And I calculated the collection power on that was roughly 5,000, 6,000 collection power. Depends on which ones you buy more of or less of. Definitely a good chunk of the way. Plus the collection power on the summoners was about 1,100. Next, we're going to tackle life. And we are, how are we doing for time? 12 minutes. This is going to be a longer video. Man, that's okay though. This is so important. Okay. Let's get into life. I need to fully explain the deck that I built, because you guys need to, for your own purposes, decide if this deck is competitive and makes sense. Plus, there'll be a whole community of people that want to know how to build a silver level deck. So that's in and of itself an important conversation. But upon that foundation, we're going to move into comparing it to buying the equivalent number of accounts and just running bots at bronze 3. You see where we're going? We need to understand the value of a silver 3 deck, the cost of it, silver 3 deck, and what it can earn you, and then we can compare that to how many accounts could that US dollar value buy you, and what would those bronze level bot accounts earn you. That's the strong comparison we're drawing to here, but we need to finish the deck conversation, and we'll move on to white. This was the more expensive of the two. I got Pellicore Conjurer. I'll try to move a bit quicker. All of them I max out at the highest levels appropriate to silver. So common level 5, Pellicore Conjurer, cheap, to give it to me. Sunkai Harvester, yes. Gargoyle Scrapper, yep. Binding Reflector, all of them so inexpensive and very helpful. Chaos Knight is a strong, very strong card. I feel pretty excited about this one with the 6 mana cost and the 3 melee with the 3 speed and armor and the hit points plus the giant killer and the shield. To me, this is an excellent tank. Excellent at the silver level or below. Excellent, especially silver level, and still even at bronze, but especially at the silver level, and I love it at the highest level. So to me, Chaos Knight is an excellent card for 9 cents. Stitch Slate you're going to need. Crystal Smith, absolutely. Portal Spinner, I picked it, but I could maybe be convinced to exclude it because again, this team was quite expensive, so maybe I nixed that one. Time Mage, yes. Alberus, you need with the double strike and the combination with General Sloan, absolutely you need that one. Warrior of Peace is not cheap. It's about 30 bucks for the highest level, but I might include it for a nice meat shield. The alternative for the same number of hit points, you might be looking at like a gelatinous cube, but that's going to cost you twice as much money. Gelatinous Cube, however, is neutral, so that can play with any team. So, you know, look at your tanks on the team, see how you feel about it. But you know, this would be maybe a $30 well spent if you did get yourself a Warrior of Peace, and if you are planning on playing in the wild format, I would strongly consider looking at a silver level Warrior of Peace. You need Jin Renova, you need Temple Priest. I thought skip Temporal Master. He just doesn't have enough magic damage, even in conjunction with. Yeah, even in conjunction with Delwyn, because look, he's an epic, so you can only get up to level 3 at silver, and that's going to be 1 magic, plus you throw 1 more on Delwyn because of Delwyn, and then you triple that because of every other turn he gets the recharge. I don't know, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. 6 magic is 6 magic, but every other turn, so I excluded him. Dax Paragon, I think absolutely you're going to need, especially because he has the Amplify. And that's going to work well with Pelacor Conjurer or with, you know, other alternatives that will come up with Thorns or Magic Reflect. Prismologist, yes. I would give consideration to cards like Silver Shield, Sheriff, and the Peacebringer, but only if you're, again, focusing on the wild format. Lunacar Mistress is a definite yes if you're going to be playing in that older. Actually, she's a dice. No, she'll be in the new. Definitely a strong card. This is a must-have in my opinion. And Leda Memento also I definitely think you need to include. Adelaide Brightwing is one that's not cheap, but I definitely think at level 2 is going to be necessary because it gets the Resurrect, Flying, and Repair. Such a great combination with cards that are in the white team, like Hero of Beyond, which is very expensive actually, 10 bucks per, and you're going to want probably 10 of them to get you up to level 3 where he has Last Stand. But picture this thing with General Sloan doing 3 archery damage at close range with the Last Stand, I guess going up to 5 archery damage, and then working in conjunction with Adelaide, who's going to do the repairs on the armor. I think that's going to be a good little carry, you know, Archer, actually, strangely. Archers usually aren't carry cards, but yeah, I think that one would be. And I believe that was all I included. Yeah, but that White Life team that I just described ended up costing $270. And that is because the Hero of Beyond was a $100 card and Adelaide Brightwing is $136. So you could easily cut the value in almost in half just by excluding the Hero of Beyond and the Adelaide Brightwing. Food for thought. I'm not sure how I would go with that. I think I would lean towards getting those cards that I just throwing in the Hero and the Adelaide, because even though they are expensive, I just think that's going to add so much strength to your team. And then I moved into Dragon. And Dragon was quite quick and easy. We just got Serpentine Mystic. You know, maybe you get Jin Shuala. I didn't include him, but I said Serpentine Mystic, Void Dragon, and Chaos Dragon. And that's like 34 bucks-ish. Then I moved into neutral, and we're almost done, guys. And I said Gargoyle Lion, Disintegrator. I skipped these guys, but you know, again, depending on your budget, I'd say these could have real value in the deck. Supply Runner is going to go great with General Sloan. Plus, it has at the highest level that you're going to be playing with Swiftness, which is excellent. So definitely, this is one you're going to want to spend a little more on. 18 cents per BCX times the full 60. I guess that makes it around 12 bucks, I think. 10 to 12 bucks. Benar Spellsmith, again because of the magic, but also because of the Amplify that you're going to be able to play with. It'd be great to look at other cards too, but I didn't look at some of these archeries. They get quite expensive. I did recommend the Sandworm, even though it is more expensive. It's just such a powerful card and at level 2 is what I said. So you need 5 BCX. That's going to give you that second speed. It's so much faster than, you know, it's so much better than the 1 speed. That's why I did that. And Magi of Chaos, yep, absolutely. At the highest level epic, you're talking, you know, 22 bucks-ish, but it's worth it. Prismatic Energy is one that I recommended. And I think maybe that was it. Yeah, that was it. I think I just got a subscriber or something. Okay, so let me see my neutral. Gargoyle Lion, Disintegrator, Supply Runner, Gargoyle Devil. I didn't comment on the Devil. Yeah, you want the Gargoyle Devil. Gargoyle Devil's up here somewhere. Yeah, because it's got the close range and it's got the archery, again, to work with Sloan. Plus the armor. I love that it has 1 armor, and it's gonna attract those opportunity monsters. They're gonna hit the armor, and that's gonna be a good distraction for your team to just have that extra survivability. I didn't comment on Zenith Monk. He's a $25 level 4 card. Strong resiliency, right? That's the thing with this card. Zenith Monk. At level 4, which is your max, he's only going to have 1 attack. So his whole deal really is just that he's going to stay alive. He's got 7 hit points. He's got the self-heal. He's got a good amount of speed, so maybe he dodges once in a while. I like it for survivability and the 4 mana cost. But it is $25. So again, take your budget into consideration. Reallocate that value if you need more power or you want to spend less money. There's different ways, right? Like that's going to be $25 for 25 BCX times 20 power. That's not, nope. 25 BCX times 20 power each is 500 power for 25 bucks. I just feel that there definitely is, if you needed more power, you could go with a cheaper monster and just buy extra copies for the sole purpose of stretching your dollar to get the highest level of league battle that you could reach. But this is a good card. Yeah, and it's worth your consideration. Like I said, Magi of the Chaos and Prismatic Energy, that all totaled to $107, and that's roughly 2,000 collection power-ish. All told, the power that I've recommended here for you, collection power, would be in the 15,000 plus range, and it's going to cost roughly 850 bucks. But if you eliminated those 3 cards that I just briefly mentioned, the Zenith Monk, the Hero of Beyond, and the Adelaide Brightwing, if you eliminate those 3 cards, you're going to bring the cost of this deck down by 100, down to 659. So between the 650 to 850 range, you're going to be able to build a silver level competitive deck with 15,000 collection power, and that's going to be fun to play with, and those cards are going to appreciate with time. Not to mention that they're going to earn you SPS airdrops, DEC ranked battle rewards, more cards per loot chest on the daily and the seasons. And so that's probably my recommendation, but we need to look at what that say. If we said 650 bucks to build a silver level deck, which is possible on those cards I just told you. Well, what if we bought just the basic number of accounts that 650 could get us? $650 at $10 per account. You're talking 65 accounts that you could buy. And if you ran bots on them without putting any sort of investment into those decks at all, you're going to compete at bronze level 3 with each of those decks, right? What would that look like for you in terms of rewards? I've got some notes. So we'll shift now to the analysis of what the bronze level bot army could get you for the same investment of, say, $650 US. And then we're going to compare the two, because I think they are very comparable, and let's look at it. So the deck that I described is going to be a silver level 3 easily competitive deck, and it's going to earn 2 daily loot chests once it's in silver. That's going to take a few days. You're not going to start in silver, but you'll probably climb into silver by the 10 days left in the season, and so you're going to get two daily chests from silver. Times 10 days is 20 chests. Plus you're going to get 12 chests per season, which is going to give you 32 chests at the silver level. And you're going to get a 50% chance of earning a card in each of those. That's going to be 16 cards. Mathematically speaking, that valuation is going to be something like $3 a turn. $3 per season for the cards themselves. Then you're going to get DEC per win, and right now silver is giving you 15 DEC per win. So if you called it 15 DEC per win, 15 wins per day, that's 225 DEC a day, which is equivalent to $33.75 per season. That number's probably going to fluctuate pretty significantly up and down, right? Because you're going to start the season in bronze, and at times the DEC rewards are going to spike, and at other times they're going to fall. But you got to work with something, and right now it'd be around 17 bucks for that sort of season reward, for that season DEC. You add that to the $3 worth of cards, you're up to 20. Then you have to add on SPS airdrops that are worth roughly 1.5 SPS per day with the power I've recommended to you. That's going to be $4.95 worth of SPS per season that you're going to be earning from those airdrops, so long as the SPS airdrop remains, which is another 205 days or something. That's $25, or actually $24.95 per season that you can expect to earn from that silver level deck we just built. But if you went ahead and went the alternative way, which is to buy 65 different accounts and just run a bot army at bronze level 3, what could that do for you? Well, this is where it's just math, really. You look at 130. You look at 130. Sorry, 65 accounts per season. 65 accounts per season, and you'll earn 20 loot chests per season, because you get 1 per day from the daily loot chest, and then you get 5 at the end of the season. That's 15 plus 5 is 20 chests per season per account. That's 1,300 loot chests per season. In addition to that, you need to know bronze 3 will get no DAC per chest, nor per, as I understand it, you don't get any DAC per wins either. And then also you only have a 1 in 10 chance for each chest to produce a card. That means you're going to get roughly 130 cards per season out of these 65 accounts. And then if we look at, let me share this with you a little bit. Oh, giving you too much that you don't need to see. So if you got 130 cards at roughly 80% chance of common, that's my understanding. 15% chance rare, 3% epic, 1% legendary. I think there's also a 1% chance that there'll be Chaos Legion packs, but it's something like this. You're going to expect around 104 commons, 20 rares, 4 epics, and 2 legendaries. Those are rounded numbers. They could be up or down per season. You might get 0 legendaries this season and maybe 4 the next, or so on. You might eventually get some gold foils in there too, which could really help you out also. But I guess the same is true with the silver level deck could drop gold foils also. I think more chances is going to give you more probability to eventually get those gold levels, those gold foils. So probably if that's a real interest, if stacking cards is an interest, you know, in an automated fashion, this is an interesting little play. Like 65 accounts for $650 US is going to generate, you know, a steady amount of cards every single season, regardless of the fact that it's bronze 3 and there's only a 1 in 10 chance per chest. This is actually very interesting. It turns out if you price out those approximate rewards, 104 commons is going to equate to, they're roughly 5 cents per card. Maybe $5 worth of common cards. 20 rare cards at 20 cents per USD or per unit is $4 worth of rare cards. 4 epic cards at $1 each is $4, and 2 legendaries at $6 each is $12. So that's actually $25.20 per season of revenue generated by 65 bronze level bot armies. That's, I think, literally 25 cents difference between the approximate value proposition of bronze bot army versus silver level competitive deck. The question is left on the table for you to answer. What would be more satisfying to you? Is it going to be satisfying in any way, shape, or form to buy 65 accounts and just run those bots and just, I guess, sell those assets? Yeah, you could do it. You could earn $25 for a startup cost of around $650 US. You could be generating $25 per every 2 weeks. It's $50 a month. So divided by, you could pay it off in 13 months. You could pay off your bot army in 13 months. Maybe that's enticing to you. It's not at all enticing to me. It's not hard to do that. And those rewards are not inconsequential. Maybe that's meaningful to you. I don't know. To me, that sounds horribly boring. And to me, this game is both fun and rewarding. So I want to enjoy both elements of that picture. Not just the rewarding aspect, but the entertainment value that this game offers. And to me, holding cards and using a deck that is actually functional and fun to run with is so important. And And there's one thing we can't quantify, which is the value appreciation of the cards that I described buying to build that silver level deck. It's my view that those cards will appreciate with time because they're deflationary in nature, and those cards are going to provide a certain type of utility that will be different than the utility provided by future cards, and therefore these cards will continue to be desirable well into the future. Not to mention, older cards usually have higher power, more modern cards will have reduced power. That's in itself a value proposition that will be offered to these cards as months and years go by. So in closing, I feel strongly that you can make an argument that building a bot army is still a functional thing today, even despite the massive bronze nerfs. But as far as my recommendation would be, if you want to get involved in this game today in January 2022, the best play is still to build a deck thoughtfully and intentionally so that you can own assets that will appreciate with time on a long enough time horizon, and assets that are going to provide you utility on a day-to-day basis, both fun and rewarding opportunities in the form of SPS airdrops and daily quest rewards and season rewards and DC per battle and so on. That's my full thoughts on this, what seemed like a really simple question. I hope that was valuable to you guys. If you stayed around to the end, make sure that you drop a like, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you so much for your time and attention. This was actually a really complicated video that took a long time to put together, so if you're interested, make sure you share it so that maybe new people find the channel and begin to understand the value proposition of Splinterlands, as well as my viewpoint on how we can extract the most reward for our time and attention. Guys, have an amazing day. God bless.